Your life is constantly being separated into before and after. Before you could ride a bike, after you learn to read. There are constantly these events, big and small, that come in and split the timeline of your life. But some events don't just split your timeline. They blow it up. They come out of nowhere, smash you in the face, and leave you stumbling around in their wake. Before there can be an after, there's the aftermath. The horrible, amorphous, terrifying process of putting it all back together. I'm Jesse Batend. This is We Still Like You. And this week we have stories from two people who've been there. They've watched their life crumble, they've put it back together, and they know better than anyone that the process of getting back to normal is paved with mistakes. Our first story comes to you from comedian George Dunn. It was taped at the LA edition of We Still Like You, and it takes place in the smoldering remains of George's last relationship. From LA, here's George Dunn.
Right before I started doing comedy, so about 3 years ago, I was dating this girl. We ended up breaking up, and it was rough and whatever. And I was going through a hard time because I had to move back home. And I met this. I was talking to this other girl, and we decided basically like she doesn't want anything serious. I'm freshly out of a relationship. I don't want anything serious either. So we're just gonna like hook up. So she's sending me like back and forth like just messages of pictures of her in the tub. It's like, oh, this is gonna be good. So I drive over to her house, I park outside on her street, and I text her, and she's like, all right, my husband's going to let you in because I'm cupping in the shower right now. She never mentioned a husband, ever. But, like, the prospect of sex was way too appealing to me. So, like, I'm just like, all right, let's see where this goes. So I go upstairs, and the he opens the door. He's really nice. He's, like, super cordial. And, like, way cooler than I was ever expecting. So he basically lands on the fact that he just wants to watch whatever happens. I'm like, okay, I don't, like, this is, he's really nice. And I'm tricking myself into being like, yeah, just stay. These seem like cool guys. So she comes out of the shower. And I'm just like, all right, well, something's going to happen. But I'm like way, way, way nervous. In general, when they're not married, I'm very uncomfortable around women. Like, if you want to be my friend, we're the best of friends. I'm your straight gay friend. But, like, when there's a prospect of sex, I'm just like, I don't know what to say to you. To lighten the tension, she turns on a movie, and like I'm noticing cartoon characters, Simpsons stuff everywhere, and I'm like, okay, we'll watch a cartoon. I love cartoons, awesome. But she turns on Hotel Transylvania, which is like, I love Dexter's Lab, I hate Adam Sandler, so this is like a weird dichotomy. And I spend like half the movie literally just watching Hotel Transylvania, like just rock hard, because I'm like, something's gonna happen probably. I just need to start it. Because I'm like sandwiched in between these two people who are very aware that like sex is gonna happen, and I'm the one who has to initiate it. So her and I start having sex, like on the floor, in front of Hotel Transylvania and her husband. And it's pretty terrible sex. Like, it's not good. When all of a sudden, a 4-year-old boy comes running out. And I start to realize, oh, there are children's toys everywhere. This isn't just their stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's the origin of a supervillain. So like I'm like scrambling for a towel or something to like cover over me, and she's just like, no. And she's completely nude, just throwing her boy back into the bedroom, and now I'm just covered in a towel, just watching Hotel Transylvania and talking to her husband. Like, this is weird. So she comes back out, And she acts like nothing happened. So now I'm just like, all right, like, I didn't really have a choice at that point, so I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna keep going. God, this is awful. So, you shouldn't. So we keep going, when all of a sudden, without saying anything, her husband's just like, I'm gonna go in her mouth. And just drops his pants. So, it's all right. None of you are ever going to see me again. So apparently, her husband, which explains why she needs to find me, finishes like immediately, and like tries to come on her back, but ends up just coming all over my leg. I'm glad you guys laugh at that. Again, you shouldn't. And the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, oops, sorry, bro. And I wish this were a joke, but as soon as he says, oops, sorry, bro, Adam Sandler in the movie goes, "Bleh." And again, I wish this were a joke. I'm about to come, and I fall to the floor and laugh. And come on their carpet. I don't know where to go from there. And she literally, she's like, is that it? And I'm just like, what do you expect? So now I'm just laying on the floor in my cum, watching the end of Hotel Transylvania. I get back up after a while when I finally I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm a human being again. And I get dressed. I sit there for, half hour trying to awkwardly kind of make some kind of semblance of everything that just happened. And I leave. And I go home and I just masturbate like crazy because it was awful. And I went back there twice. I was in a very dark place. The problem is, every time I went back there, it was the same goddamn situation, just a different fucking movie. No, but it's I don't know where to end with this, because I just don't like myself.
Comedian George Dunn. Coming up next, Anthony Desamito breaks up with his boss. As tough as the aftermath of a breakup can be, there's another kind that might just be worse: losing your job. Comedian Anthony Desamito tells this story about how getting fired from Cracker Barrel almost landed him in jail multiple times over the course of just one night. From the Bird City Comedy Festival in Iowa, here's Anthony Desamito.
Thank you. Closing out the fucking festival. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna talk about the day I got fired from Cracker Barrel. It was a long day, guys. I worked at Cracker Barrel for 5 whole years. I know. I don't know how I got through. I think it slipped. They were like, 5 years, oh shit, it's time to fire this guy. And I actually worked at 3 Cracker Barrels. I worked at the one in Yuma, Arizona, the one in Flagstaff, Arizona, and the one in Mesa, Arizona, because I just transferred 2 years, and 1 year. I just didn't know that you could just get a new job when you moved. No one fucking told me. And so I hated working there, of course. And the day I got fired because I had a big party. It was a birthday. And with birthdays, you give them a free dessert. And in our case, it was a Coke cake, a cake made out of Coca-Cola. It was chocolate. I know, they poured Coke into cake, so it was like corn. It was gross. And so that's what we gave to these fucking assholes who were fucking came for their birthday to Cracker Barrel. And so so even if you're giving away something that's free, you have to ring it in, or else it's stealing. And so I forgot to ring this in, and the prep cook was like, you gotta ring it in. And I'm like, calm the fuck down. I'll ring it in right now. They're waiting. They want their cake, and I have everybody's wearing the silly hats. I couldn't wait. So we went out there, we did the birthday, and I came back and I rung up the Coke cake. And then the manager called me to the office, and they were like, that's considered stealing, you're fired. And I started like screaming. I was like 22 at the time, so it was very emotional. And so when I think I take the whole ship down fucking with me, I started screaming at the prep cook like, you got me fired! Fuck you, fucking prep cook piece of shit. And I even went up to the table with the birthday, and I was like crying, and I was just like, I got fired because I brought out your Coke cake. Oh God. They had to escort me out of Cracker Barrel. So I went home, I was crying, and it was like, I remember that it was the first week of January, like, and I had to pay rent. I think my rent was due like January 5th or some stupid date like that. And so I was crying, and I was like, okay, I have to pay rent before this time, whatever. So I went to go, I was wearing like pajamas, and my face was red, and I paid my rent, and I'm walking back to my apartment, and there was this black gay dude on the street, and he was like, "You been crying?" And I said, "Yes." Like, why are you crying? And I was like, I got fired today. And stuff. I told him the whole story, and he's like, "Oh, baby, come here." And then we started making out. Me and this black gay dude are just making out in the middle of the street, and I just like, my eyes are swollen from crying. And then he's like, do you live here? And I was like, yeah, I live upstairs. And what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm hanging out with my friend Jennifer. And then he was like, do you want to go to your apartment? And I was like, I don't know. And then he's like, I can make a guy come just using my mouth and no hands. And then I was like, okay, right, we'll do it, we'll go. And so I was like, I deserve this, I just got fired. Okay. So we go up to my room and we have like sex. And no, he couldn't make me come with just his mouth. Like he failed at that. I was like, I don't know why, but okay, this is getting really weird. And so we just stopped having sex. And we were like, okay, this is okay. And I'm like, what what's happening? Who are you with? And he's like, he's with Jennifer, and Jennifer wanted to hang out with us. Jennifer was downstairs with her friend, and Jennifer wanted to go get hot Cheetos at Circle K. And so I was like, I guess we can go get hot Cheetos. Okay, so I met this girl, Jennifer, and me and the black gay dude, we go to Circle K, and we get hot Cheetos, and then we get, like, Arbor Mist or strawberry wine, because I thought things were going to keep going. And so, I don't know. So... And so we go back to the apartment, and Jennifer goes, I don't know where, to her friend's house or something. And then me and the gay black dude, we go back up to my apartment, and we start drinking. And all of a sudden, there's a big pounding on my door, like boom, 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 boom. And I answer the door, and there's this giant dude standing outside of my door, and he's pissed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, did you take my daughter, put my daughter in your car and go somewhere? And I was like, your daughter? She's like, my daughter Jennifer, she's 15 years old. What the fuck are you doing with my daughter? And I was like, well, what? We're gay. And then we had to like make out in front of this dude to like prove that we were gay. And I was just like, fucking A, like I just got fired. Is this fucking happening right now? I didn't know what to. I told, he was like, all right, I believe you because you made out. And and so I closed the door, and he was my neighbor, so I could hear this giant fight afterwards. It was the mom, the dad, and Jennifer, and the girl. There was a huge fight, and me and the black gay dude were just like listening, and we're scared, and we don't know what's gonna happen. And then the girl, she ends up getting kicked out of her house. And so she shows up at my door with these trash bags full of fucking her shit. And she's like, can I stay with you? And I was like, no, you can't. I'm sorry that you got kicked out, but you can't stay with me. And then she was like, can I at least charge my phone? And I was like, no, you can't charge your phone. I'm sorry. And then she was like, you can't even let a charge your phone? And I was like, oh my God. Oh. No, you can't. So I closed the door. Yeah, so that's my story. Oh, thanks.
Anthony Desamito is a stand-up comic. Check out his podcast, Thank You for Being a Podcast, wherever you found this one. And that does it for this episode of We Still Like You. As always, feel free to submit a story to us. Just send an email to westilllikeYou@gmail.com. Make sure to check out our Facebook page to find out how you can attend a live taping of one of our live shows across the country. And if you have a second, please share this episode with someone who you think will like it. It makes all the difference in the world, and we seriously can't thank you enough. I'm Jesse Batend. Until next time, thank you for listening.
We Still Like You is produced by Danny Gallegos, Dan Sheehan, Tyler Snodgrass, and J. Michael Osborne, who is also our resident live artist.
The podcast is produced by Jesse Batend, engineered by Jesse Batend and Sam Haas. Our theme song is Specific People by Jake Tobin. Big thanks to all the people who've housed our live shows at various undisclosed locations around Chicago, and to you, the listener, for being there.
If you'd like to know more about where you can watch We Still Like You or submit to be on We Still Like You, please check out our website, which is westilllikeyu.com, and also you can find us on Facebook.
We'll see you next month.